With Jorge Sosa, a hard-throwing right-hander of the mound against Hardin tonight, the A's wasted little time getting on the board. Mark McLemore singled with 1 out in the first inning. Chavez was a strikeout victim, but after that was a real pain, a thorn in the side of the Devil Rays. But after Chavez's strikeout, Scott Hatterberg was waiting to pick up. And the pitch. Ground ball sharply hit up the middle into center field for a base hit. McLemore around third base and will score without a throw. And so with 2 out, the reliable Hatterberg with 2 strikes delivers McLemore for a 1-0 A's lead here in the top of the first and continues his torrid stick work. But that was short-lived. Carl Crawford led off for Tampa Bay in the bottom of the first. Swung on and hit to right field deep. That ball is going back, and that is gone. A home run. Carl Crawford bangs a 2-2 pitch to dead right field, a bit toward right center, into the seats, evening up this ball game in the first inning, leading off the bottom of the first with his 8th home run of the year, and now a 1-1 game. Leading off in the A's half of the second, Adam Melhuse wanted to see if the ball would really fly that well tonight. Swung on. There's a high, powerful, deep drive way back into right center field, and that one is into the seats and then some. A long home run by Melhuse to lead off the second inning, and the A's are back in front by a score of 2-1. Melhuse 8th of the year. Sosa had some command problems tonight, gave up the first of his 5 walks with 1 out to McMillan in that second inning. And Bobby Crosby was up trying to break out of a slump that had dogged him, 1 for his last 23. Swing, and there's a drive to left center field. That is hit well. Going back on it is Huff in the alley. It's off the wall. Played by Crawford around to third base and held up is McMillan. And into second is Bobby Crosby with a ringing double to the left center field barrier. And after that, it was Mark Kotsay waiting to pick up the run as he delivered a sacrifice fly to center field, getting McMillan home. The A's had a chance for more, however. A walk to McLemore and another to Chavez, loaded him up for Hatterberg, whose deep drive to right field was caught on the run at the wall by Jose Cruz Jr. The A's left the bases loaded, and you wondered whether that would come back to haunt them. Well, they had enough explosion in their bats tonight that it did not. For example, even though they missed a chance with 2 on and nobody out in the third, Chavez picked up another tally with 2 gone in the fourth.
Now the windup, the 3-2 delivery is hit to right field way back. Cruz is just going to watch, and the A's have hit another home run. Chavez a blast deep into the seats in right field on a 3-2 pitch in the top of the fourth, and the A's take a 4-1 lead. And that's his 22nd.
And the Devil Rays managed to run off Hardin in the 5th. He had shut them down in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. A walk, a single, and a Jeff Blum double play ball got the run home. And it was a 4-2 ball game as the A's came up in the 6th inning. Sosa had a high pitch count in 1 inning. He had 35 in the 2nd, and he was getting up around the 100-pitch mark when Crosby was up for the 3rd time in the night to start the 6th inning. 6 hits for the A's, 4 for the Rays. There's a drive belted back to left field. Huff going back on it. He turns, and that one is gone. He turned as if for a moment he thought, or you would think that he was going to set up for the catch. But it was well gone into the seats. And Crosby, with his 16th home run, continues the long ball barrage for the A's tonight. They're 3rd of the game, and they lead 5-2.
Good piece of hitting by Crosby. Maybe thinking that he was set up that time to get a slider, which he got from Sosa, which hung right out over the plate. And he killed it.
And the 5th walk given up by Sosa followed to Kotsay. McLemore flied out, but at that point Lou Piniella went to the bullpen with Chavez coming up, brought in his left-hander, Trevor Miller, and things don't always work out that well. Miller gave up a base hit to Chavez, and with Hatterberg batting, he hit Scott with a pitch, loading the bases. Rubio Durazo, who came into the ball game hitting .528 for the last 11 games, had gone 0 for 2 and got behind in the count against a couple of nasty curveballs. Miller sets again and delivers Swinging a line drive down the right field line for a base hit. Here's one run in. Here's the second run in. Around from first to third goes Hatterberg. It is 7-2 Athletics, and even the left-hander can't cool off the torrent of Rubio Durazo, who drives in two more. Even though he got behind in the count, Durazo now is 66 runs batted in for the year. And although Melhuse followed with a strikeout, Eric Burns was ready for the task. Burns hits the first one, bouncing up the middle, and it gets through as Lugo can't quite flag it down. And another run comes home as Hatterberg is in. Burns jumped on the first pitch and bounced it perfectly between the middle infielders trying to converge behind second base. And he gets his 63rd run batted in of the year. The A's lead jumps to 8-2. But Harden would run into trouble in the sixth inning. The first trouble was B.J. Upton, the bright and highly touted young rookie who turns 20 years old tomorrow. Rich Harden to begin the bottom of the sixth inning, facing the 2, 3, 4 hitters in the order. B.J. Upton leading off, and he hits the first pitch in the air to center, sending Kotsay back, still running back, still going back, and that one is gone for a home run. B.J. Upton's second Major League home run, and that ball just kept carrying. Boy, what a quick, sluggy whip swing that was. And then a Huff single brought up Tino Martinez. Harden now has been tagged for 13 home runs this year. He gave up only one home run in 7 starts prior to the last 8 outings. 6 in the last 8 before tonight. There's one driven to right. That is deep. And that is a home run. Tino Martinez homers with a man on. And just like that, turning the A's weapon on the Athletics, the Devil Rays get back in the hunt. It is now 8-5 Athletics. And nobody out in the 6th inning. And when Lugo walked with 1 out, the call went to the bullpen for Justin Duchscher. And that was really basically the end of the offense tonight for the Devil Rays, except for a brief flurry that threatened in the ninth. Duchscher came in. He got Cantu looking at a third strike, Hall on a fly ball out, pitched the 7th inning and got 2 outs out of 3. But one man reached on an error, which brought Arthur Rhodes out for the first call since back in late June, back on the active list. And he proceeded to get the final out of the 7th and to get a 3-out 8th inning. And by that time, the A's had another run on their lead. It was 9-5 as Chavez hit the first pitch in the 8th inning for his second home run of the night, his 23rd of the year, giving the Athletics that 9-5 lead. When with 2 out in the 9th inning and Jim Messier on the mound, a Blum single and a walk to Crawford brought up the scenario that could evolve, of course. That is that if Upton, the rookie, got on, Aubrey Huff, a long ball guy, would be up representing the tying run. But at that point, Ken Maka went to the bullpen to Octavio Dotel as he got to a 2-2 count. Now Dotel, ready, and works to the plate. Swung and missed a fastball. Dotel strikes out the rookie, and the A's have won the ball game. The first game of the 3-game set in St. Petersburg. 6 consecutive road victories for the Athletics, and 4-0 on the trip as Dotel puts away any thought of a last-ditch rally by the Devil Rays. Final score, A's 9 and Tampa Bay 5.